We should be so pleased that we have not had an attack like 9/11 since 9/11. Every now and then some nut pops up and the FBI catches them pretty quickly. The reality is that through deterrence and defense at our airports and elsewhere, through what our brave troops are doing around the world, we are a lot safer than we were. At the same time, we have to remember something that I said to President Bush about a year and a half after all the new stuff started. Mr. President, we're a lot safer now, but we don't want to be so safe that people don't want to come here because it's too hard to get a visa or they get hassled at our airports. We want them to come here. We want them to come to our great recreational facilities and our great universities, like all of the universities you have here in Nashville. We want them to come to our great hospital centers. We want to remain an open, welcoming nation because the facts are simply this. The terrorists might be able to get through again. Can't be 100% sure that we can hold them all out. And we may lose some other citizens. We may see another building knocked down, but we'll rebuild and we'll mourn. But there's something that no terrorist can do. Not one of them, not 10,000. They can't change who we are and what we are as an open, welcoming nation. Only we can do that to ourselves. And we must not do that to ourselves. Now, I left the Army so many years ago. I thought that was the end of my public service. And I was honored when President Bush did ask me to be the Secretary of State. The first morning going down to the Department of State, Alma said to me at the kitchen table, "Now listen, you're not in the Army anymore." I know. You go down there this morning, remember these are Foreign Service officers and ambassadors and diplomats. Don't go down there and act like you're taking over some infantry battalion somewhere. Yes, dear. Go down to the State Department, I walk into the lobby, about 500 employees are waiting for me. I go up to the lectern, I look over the crowd, I can only think of one thing to say. "Good morning, troops, how are you?" I don't care what you said, they were my infantry battalion because I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way. I've been privileged to command troops of 40 and 3 million. I have been in the private sector, I have been in the public sector, nonprofit world, and so I've had a lot of leadership and management experiences. And I go about them all the same way. Take me off the stage, take me back to your office, take me anywhere you want, and give me a leadership and management position with you at any level, and I will act the same way as I did when I was Secretary or Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And it's the basic information, the basic education I got at the infantry school at Fort Benning, Georgia, so many, many years ago. I left New York City, went to Benning for my infantry training, and when you drive onto the coast, you see the motto of the infantry school: follow me. Me is me, but follow is the verb. Follow is what they focused on. Because from follow, you get followership and followers. And what they drilled into us is, Lieutenant Powell, all you other lieutenants, your purpose in life as a leader is to put the followers in the best possible position to get the job done. Always remember that they get it done. They go up the hill. You may be behind them, you may be with them, but they're the ones who get it done. They're the ones who get it on the factory line done. They're the ones who get it done in the offices. So always be focusing on the followers. And the way you start doing that is, first and foremost, give human beings entrusted to your care missions and goals to accomplish, something they can all rally around. But a word I've been using more and more often is give human beings a sense of purpose. Any group of people working together have to not only have missions and goals, you know, the number of things we put out every single day, but they have to know why they're doing it. What is the purpose? How are they serving society? How are you serving your fellow man? What are you doing for your community and your country? That's the purpose. In my beautiful suite of offices at the State Department, looks like an 18th century mansion, antiques in every corner. And every night before I left, somebody came in right behind me to clean up. And I would always stop and talk to that person. How are you? How's everything? How are the kids? You need any assistance with your job? Everything going okay? Oh, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Everything's fine. Oh, thanks so much. I'm really pleased that you're doing this important work. I wanted that person to know that her purpose in life was not to clean a desk or to sweep the floor, Her purpose was to make sure that tomorrow morning, when people came from all over the world to see the Secretary of State, that office was shining. It was a beautiful reflection of me, of the United States of America. I didn't ever want her to think that I only saw her as a janitor. I saw her as somebody with a purpose, and without her achieving her purpose, I couldn't get my job done. There is no unimportant job anywhere. That's what you have to do. If you want to be a successful leader, you have to convey to every single person in the organization their value and how you couldn't get it done without their effort. Next thing they drilled into us is take care of the troops. If you want them to believe in your purpose, missions, and goals and all that stuff, you got to take care of them. Give them the skills they need, the training they need, the equipment they need, the tools, the weapons. In the case of the State Department, we're an information organization. We don't make anything. We live on information. And I found ancient computers there when I arrived in January 2001. They weren't going to believe in me unless I did something about the information system. So I bought 44,251 computers, put a computer in every desk at every embassy and every office throughout the world, connected it all together with the most modern software, and then changed the brainware of the organization. Guys, we're now moving at 186,000 miles per second. We're going to be emailing instead of sending cables. And then they said, this guy's serious. We believe in him. Next thing they drilled into us was take care of your troops by also recognizing them. Recognize good performance. Sometimes it's with a promotion or a medal or a bonus of some kind, but very often it's just that human connection. Put your arm around somebody and say, hey man, you're doing a great job. I'm so glad you're a part of my team. I just called your wife, I just called your husband, let them know how valuable your family is to our organization. I write lots of notes to people who are doing good jobs under my supervision. Little 4x6 cards, my name printed on it. I just scribbled out, dear so-and-so, I was down your way the other day, you're doing a terrific job. Thanks for being a part of my team. Couldn't get it done without you, signed, Colin Powell. It cost me 10 seconds, and it cost 10 cents. But wait, here's a bit. This little card, 10 cents and 10 seconds. The next time I'm down in that guy's office, he's got it mounted in a $150 frame. On his knee wall. It isn't hard. I snuck away from my office one day, and I went into the garage of the State Department. I was all alone. I dumped my bodyguards and assistants. They didn't see me sneak out. I wanted to know how they got all those cars in there in the morning. And they were contract employees who were doing it. And they're all immigrants. They're all from God knows where. So I'm wandering around down there, and they spot me, and they come over and say, Mr. Secretary, why are you here? Are you lost? Can we help you get back upstairs? No, I wanted to talk to you guys. You want to talk to us? Yeah. Tell me, where are you from? Chad. Where are you from? Honduras. How much you make? Oh, a couple bucks over minimum wage. How are the kids? Fine. Tell me, too much carbon monoxide down here? Are you okay? Sir, we're fine, thank you. I said, look, I know that there are so many cars that you have to stack them every morning, 1, 2, and 3. And 2 and 3 can't leave until 1 goes first. So how do you decide every morning who's number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3? And so they look at each other for a moment, and then one of them said, Mr. Secretary, kind of goes like this. If when you pull in, you stop. If you lower your window, look out at us, smile, and say, good morning, how are you? Number 1. Something you don't understand about this? If you don't, if you just, you're 2 or 3. It means that the person receiving this kindness from you, this expression, is bonded with you. What you are saying with that simple act is, I know you're a human being just like me. You have dreams and fears and ambitions and wants, and I'm going to help you satisfy all of that because I believe in you and I want you to believe in me. That's what leadership's all about, getting human beings connected together to accomplish a job. That isn't all nice and soft stuff like I've been describing. If you also want to be a leader, you cannot tolerate poor performers. You get somebody who's not getting the job done, you retrain them, you move them, or guess what? Fire them! If you can't keep up with me, if you can't achieve the purpose with me, you gotta go. I will not let you hold the good followers back. That's the way you have to do it. That's all I know about leadership. I don't know anything else about leadership. A sergeant told me at Fort Benning, Lieutenant Powell, you'll know you're a good leader if your troops will follow you, if only out of curiosity. Day will come when they're scared, they're afraid. Got to go up a hill. Just got a new competitor in the marketplace who's lost market share. If at that point, when they're terrified, don't know what's coming next, they'll follow you, if only out of curiosity, to see how you get them out of it, where you take them. Then you'll know you've been a good leader. What he was really saying is, they'll follow you because they trust you. Trust is the essence of every good organization. Trust among the people within the organization. It's the glue that holds it together and the lubricant that keeps it moving forward. And that's what I tried to practice in my career. Did it in the State Department for the 4 years I was there. Difficult 4 years. We had all of the challenges that you're so well aware of. You see them tonight on your television sets. Afghanistan, Iraq, what's going on in the Arab Spring, Iran, North Korea, lots of challenges. But all these challenges really affect only about 500 million people in a world of 7 billion people. And we will work our way out of these challenges. Sooner or later we'll be out of Iraq and out of Afghanistan. It's time for them to take over responsibility for their own countries. Remember this, the most powerful political force at work out there is really not these conflicts. It's what the rest of the world is doing. The 500 million people are having these difficulties. Of the 7 billion, 6.5 billion are off trying to make their economies function better. That's what China has been doing, India is doing, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, here in Latin America, in Central Europe, and even in Africa. We see this. And that's what America has to do, realize that the most powerful force at work is 21st century economics, and we've got to fix our economic system. We also need the energy to do that, and we also have to do it in a way that we don't hurt our environment any longer. And so the world is rapidly changing from the world I started out in, the worlds of Cold Wars and Soviet Unions and Red Chinas. All of that has gone, and it is now economic development, and that's what we have to focus on. People say, well, with this new world, is America still number one? I said, we used to be number one and everybody else was 13, 14, 15. Now we're still number one, and they're 2, 3, and 4. They've come up, and that's good. I want people to come up out of poverty and destitution. That's good. But don't sell us short. We're still the inspiration for the rest of the world. We're still the ones they come to when they need a problem solved, whether it's the Middle East or anywhere else. We're still a unique nation. People say, are you sure, General Powell? I said, let me just give you just 2 examples, and I'll close with these 2 examples of what the world still sees in America. Both examples have to do with my hometown, New York. There was a Japanese businessman who was very, very famous and a multi-billionaire. He travels all the time. And he was being interviewed on television, Japanese television one night. And the interviewer says to him, as you travel around the world, which is your favorite city? And he immediately says, New York. And the guy says to him, New York, why not Rome, London, Paris? Why New York? And the Japanese businessman says, because New York City is the only city in the world where, when I walk down the street, people come up to me and ask for directions. It could be any city in America like that. Back to New York. Whenever in my hometown, I love to walk up Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue on a beautiful afternoon, looking at the shops and the stores, the whole world going by. But I always have to stop at one of the cross streets, numbered cross streets, to buy me a hot dog. One of those wonderful New York hot dogs with mustard on it and red onion relish. I gotta have one. I even did it when I was Secretary of State. I would come out of the Waldorf Astoria, start walking up Park Avenue. But in those days, I had 5 bodyguards around me and 3 New York City police cars rolling alongside to make sure nobody whacked me as I went up Park Avenue. But I would still stop at the cross street and go up to the pushcart peddler who was making the hot dogs, an immigrant. And I would order my hot dog, and he'd start to fix my hot dog, and then he'd look around and see all the bodyguards and the police cars. I've got a green card, I've got a green card. Now I'm all alone. I got no police cars, I got no bodyguards, I got no airplanes, I got nothing. Still have to have my hot dog. I'll order the hot dog, the guy's fixing it, finishes it, start to hand it to me. I know you, I see you on television, you're General Powell. Oh, he hands it to me. General, no. You don't have to pay me. You can't pay me. General, I've been paid. America's paid me. I'll never forget where it came from. But now I'm here. I'm an American. So General, please, take that. I accept his generosity. I continue up the street, and it all flows over me all over again. My God. My God. This is still the same country that greeted my parents that way 90 years ago. And as long as we never forget, that's who we are. An open nation, open to the rest of the world. A nation of nations. We touch every nation touches us. As long as we never forget that's our past, our present, and our future, we'll continue to be the leader of this world that truly wants to be free. Thank you, Nashville!